with us. Welcome back, Alex.
Thank you for the invite, Nima. Always a pleasure to join you. And warm greetings to everyone out there, particularly people in Iran who I hope are watching this since you're there.
Yeah, exactly. Alex, let me start.
You want to see the smartest person out there?
Asia. We know as we
You have three choices. The smartest person out there. You have three choices.
Assets into the Middle East, into West Asia, in order, and everything is prepared on the part of Iranians, on the part of the United States. You look at what's going on the surface, what's obvious for everybody, that the two sides are building up or preparing to, a big.
This guy's a pretty good interviewer because once he gets the question out, he shuts up. But
the two sides are talking about negotiations.
Sometimes it takes him a long time to get the question out, like now.
Human being, always, they were somehow trying to convince the other side that he's bigger, he's more powerful, he's more prepared.
All right, we gave you your chance. Railtown, 17,504,347. You guys are the champs. 17,500,000 shares. That is, I think, equivalent to what Corey Brandolini owns. Right there. But he didn't have to listen to me. He did not have to listen to me. All right, it's late. I've been on the phone, and I always think that if I open this up, it's not polite. But if I tighten it, if I put it on, everything's too tight. So just have to live with my body shape. I'm making excellent progress on our little other projects. So for those of you who want to, Railtown, again, 17,500,000 shares. But for those of you who wish to participate or just hear from me, I'll just remind you what my email is. I'm starting to use this email more than my normal one because my normal one has so much junk in it. Fair and Balanced. That's my name, and that's just the word balanced. Fair and Balanced at gmail.com. Fair and Balanced at gmail.com. So I'd say that I currently have 8 participants with 15 people I need to talk to, but more the merrier, the more chance of success. And as one guy told me yesterday, this, what I refer to as a little gold project, he sees it as much larger than Railtown. The problem is Railtown is public and it's now, but the urgency of this is now. So I'm just trying to act and roll with the punches, But anyway, let's go on with what your comments are. Julie Kim, how are you? You're numero uno. Numero uno. T. Alex, number 2. T. Alex, hi, William and everybody. Hello. Marty Party, good afternoon. Um, Hi, Steve. I hope you and your family are up and about, as they say in Roanoke, up in a boot soon. Hey, account settings. I know that was too early to call you, I think, but um, I'll try a little later on. Um, Skyrockets at night. How are you? Uh, Hello, everyone. Can't type today. I can't type any day. Telus announced, according to T. Alex, which is true. Not somebody else pointed that out to me. I forgot to take a picture of it. But Telus announced the successful deployment and commissioning of a fiber optic cable connecting this. I forgot to look up where Seille is compared to Saint-Anne-des-Monts, South Shore to North Shore. I don't know if this is an important part of the sovereign AI factory. It would certainly, if it is, it would certainly explain some of the delays because they want that thing to work when they turn it. I know people say it's already on. I get that. I'm just not convinced it's full on. So that's very interesting news, and it might explain our wait a little bit. Jack Hamilton, please add. 272, you paid $5 commission. 14, you paid $5. But I know what happened. You put the 272 to buy in at the ask. Of course, they didn't make it go off at the ask. So you got it in between. That left cash. So you put that cash in at the ask. That didn't go off. And then, it didn't go off at the ask. It went in between, leaving more cash. So you paid 3 commissions, but you got it done. Good for you. 300. I love it. 306. I love it. You're going to catch up with Donna pretty soon. And who would have thought you could do that back when I was under the impression that we didn't have much time? And instead, you've been, whether you think it's lucky or not, I don't know. But you've been granted enough time to catch up with Donna, which is saying a big, big thing. T. Alex, banks are playing big games. Well, it's not games. It is existential on their part. Just there isn't enough silver. I heard somebody. Let me think. Who was it? Oh, it was Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson. He was saying that the most critical commodity in the world is oil. Well, certainly it's hard to argue with that, of course. But we don't talk about clean water. We're going to find out if who was it? I know Billie Eilish has that home on the West Coast, but somebody just came back from her Trump derangement flight from the country. Was it Ellen? And she bought a mansion in Monte Shite Show, California, for like $34 million. It looks beautiful. But imagine if somebody figures out that, and I don't, maybe the world, maybe nature takes care of it, and we don't have anything to worry about. But somebody figures out that all of that 500 tons of highly radioactive waste that pours into the Pacific Ocean from Fukushima Daiichi every single day since March 11th, 2011, reaches, and of course it's already here, reaches our shores and just gets into that cycle of the ocean evaporate, go up to the mountains, rain, that whole cycle that keeps California lush. But what if it starts showing up that those waters and the food and the living there is dangerous? Man, that would have a huge impact on the banks. Likewise, if the narrative were to confirm that you don't need the ice to melt in the world, you just need a huge block of ice to slide off land into the sea in the Antarctic, in Greenland, and you could see waters rise a meter. What does that do to Miami? What does it do to Miami real estate? Banks banks have a lot on the line. That's where most of the world's real estate is, along the coastlines. I mean, I was reading there's earthquakes off of, I'm not going to, Fortuna or something, California, but it's some trend that goes up to Canada. If Palo Alto has an earthquake, that could be a shock. Anyway, one of the biggest shocks out there would be if people figure out that silver is unavailable, and silver will bring down the banks. I wouldn't put silver ahead of clean water or fresh air, but silver might be on par with oil as critical to our economies, but the banks have really overdone themselves with leverage. There's no buffer above the ground to rescue them. It's hard. You can hypothecate and rehypothecate, pay per ounces of silver, but when it comes time to deliver, what are they going to deliver? So that's why I say it's not games. I think it's fear of the end, fear of the, and ultimately I think that's what could drive silver prices to thousands of dollars a share if available, an ounce. I don't think we're there yet because everybody's talking about it, and our aircraft carriers are still headed towards Iran. So I'm not sure, but you're right to look, T. Alex. Kudagai, I can't remember if Kudagai is going to be friend or foe. Not able to catch you live in a few weeks. Well, it's not for me not being here. I'm getting a little worn out about it. It's talking about the same thing all the time. I added 2350 more. That's good. Kudagai. I guess Kudagai is friend, not foe. Congratulations, Kudagai. That's great. It's awesome. Um, Actually, it was 306 more, and Fidelity didn't charge commission. Fidelity doesn't charge commission. Joe Marty grabbed 1,825 more. You are going to be as big as, not Donna, you're going to be as big as, I saw somebody had 200,000. Yeah, that's who it was. Jason Harbisa, you're going to be as big as he. That's amazing, amazing, Marty Party. Incredible. Jack Hamilton, still not a fan of Fidelity. It's a good movie. High Fidelity was a good movie. Yeah, I think Fidelity might be one of the ones that really is in trouble over MMTLP. Huh? Jack Hamilton, you go, girl. You go, Joe Marty. Yeah, see, Marty Party wants 200,000. You're close. Jack says, right on. Right on. So Ward Richardson says, good afternoon, William and RT crew. Hurry, stock up. Uh-oh, the stock's rallying? Wah, wah. Wah, wah. Another another trade I missed. I'm not going to miss it entirely, but like I suggested to everybody, you have to be grateful for what you have. And I think this is going to give us a nice experience. And as an investment banker that I met years and years ago would say, he had more business than he could say grace over. Maybe we'll have more cars. I don't know. I forget what you call them. Cars. Then we can say grace over. I forget what Ward calls them. All right, I'm going to just put this up while I sign in. It's about, I don't know, 18 minutes into the live. I appreciate any help that comes. It goes to a good cause. Keeps me live for whatever that's worth. All right, let me just sign in. But it's another month. I can't believe it. All right, I'm just trying to sign in while that's up there. Okay, let's relieve you of that soft commercial, and let's go to our 5 stocks that don't rotate very much anymore. Railtown is slightly down. It's red because they want you to always feel it's in the red, but it's 27.5 cents basically, 27.47. The volume on Railtown is 28,000 in the U.S., it's intriguing how last year, right through the end of the year, the volume was so big in the United States compared to Canada, and now it's just flipped on its head. It's almost as if they've moved on. Maybe they have. Maybe we should. Finger down 13 cents. $1.07. 1.075. GDC. I mean, they put it out in public. It was worth $22 a share. But GDC's down 13 cents at $3.39. MTEN down 31 cents, $1.64. ZJYL 14 cents. That's just for kicks and giggles. See what $1.66 is adjusting for the split. It's on its way to 0.001. It's 0.0083 MTN. Do you remember that one? Oh, there's billionaires in here, and it's going to go to hundreds of dollars, and $27 a share. It's a bargain. It's bloody 0.008. 0.0083 adjusted for the split. Guys, it's just time to get away from all of these. Stop listening to the stories. We're just going to ride the crest out of this muck on the wings of Railtown, and then we're going to do other things. I'm sure you'd love to hear me talk about other things. Do I know anything else? All right, let's see. Let's see if there's any. Oh gosh, horror. I don't want to read that. I guess the Clintons are going to be talking, but till then it's quiet. There's no real news, so I guess we don't have to worry about the news right now. All right, let me see what else is going on. Hawaii, but 325. New total is 134,750. Another. That I think is slightly more than Donna's, but you're in that Donna range. Amazing how many of you were over 100,000. It's amazing. Ward Richardson, Google plans to double their CapEx spending to, is that all? They're not even going to 200 billion? 175 billion in 20, that's this year, 60% on an AI infrastructure push and 40%, 60%. Basically, I don't know what AI infrastructure means when people write it, but it partly means the software infrastructure layer. Partly. I don't know if that's all of it, but it's partly that. And then 40% on data centers. Oh, thank you, Jack. I appreciate that. Jack. It's very kind of you. Very kind of you. Sorry, Venmo is not playing right with my Android phone. I had to use the other. That's great. I appreciate it. It'll keep everything on if I hit the right number. All right, let me see what I have here. To show you. It will chill you to the bone. Step right up. Come on in. If you'd like to hear the story, take the grand tour of what was once home, sweet home. All right, this came from Ward. Jensen Huang has been very explicit. He thinks every country needs its own sovereign AI infrastructure. Of course, that's basically talking up his own book. But what Huang is arguing is every country should own the production. The workers control the means of production. Every country should own the production of their own intelligence, not allow that to be done by other people. He framed sovereign AI as a way for nations to capture economic upside from their data while protecting language, culture, and other local norms. And, bringing in hundreds of thousands and millions of people from other lands that don't, I don't know. I think this idea of protecting language, culture, and local norms has fallen because of wokeism and population collapse. So I think we just got to get used to having little pockets of language, culture, and local norms are probably not going to withstand the changes that have happened. He has singled out countries like India, Japan, France, and Canada, describing data as a natural resource that should be refined domestically. What a sovereign AI data center means. Sovereign AI typically implies in-country data storage and processing. How's that for local pronunciation? And processing locally hosted AI models and AI compute under national legal and security control. Practically, that means building domestic high-performance data centers, often with data localization rules so sensitive or strategic data never leaves the national jurisdiction. Governments see this as a hedge against supply chain shocks and foreign control, and as a way to keep Trump out. So you keep value creation, skills, jobs, and intellectual property inside the country. Why Wong pushes this so hard? Strategically, a world where many countries race to build sovereign AI infrastructure directly increases demand for NVIDIA's GPUs and systems. No shite Sherlock. Politically, his message reassures governments that they do not have to rely solely on a few sovereign hyperscalers. Instead, they can combine national data centers with partnerships to accelerate capacity. Narratively, as opposed to politically and opposed to strategically, narratively, it positions NVIDIA as the enabler of democratized AI compute while aligning with growing policy themes of digital sovereignty and data residency. If you like, I can map this out. Always ever helpful, Miss Perplexity. Canadian sovereign data centers align closely with Wong's vision as the Canadian government, actively solicits proposals for large-scale domestically controlled AI infrastructure. Other regions like the EU, India, the UAE, and the Kingdom are also advancing rapidly with national strategies emphasizing data localization and local compute. Canada, government intake open for greater than 100 megawatt sovereign AI data centers, prioritizes indigenous participation, but of course it does. Canadian supply chains, low environmental impact. Well, they got a whole country and nobody living there. Local players position, TELUS, Hydro-Quebec, or Quebec, for power, potential with core scientific or local hyperscalers, capacity targets, huge gigawatts, public-private partnerships. You should focus on that, public-private partnerships. That's all up there. They're all working together up in Canada to make this happen. So we read Canada. The European Union has strong data residency and a lot of foreigners moving in. Via GDPR, European Sovereign Cloud Initiatives, Germany and France, multiple national AI factories, OVH Cloud, Deutsche Telekom, Atos, AWS, GCP sovereign clouds. Anyway, there's some big sizes there. India AI mission builds national compute grid. Data localization laws enforce in-country processing. Reliance Jio, Adani Kona X, Yota partnerships with NVIDIA. And they've got big scale domestic customer clusters. The Gulf region, the UAE and the Kingdom, Saudi Arabia, advanced AI optimized data centers, national models. Saudi is building a lot of capacity. And this is Cosna, Mobily, Oracle, and et cetera, huge add-ons. United States, private, of course, because we're not communist, but private-led, but federal pushes for resilient infra. Hyperscalers build gigawatt campuses. And you see the names Meta, AWS, and I covered up some accidentally. Stands out for policy speed, one in front of the other. MOU's imminent. And if an MOU is imminent in Canada, an amalgamation cannot be far behind. And clean energy advantages, making it attractive for NVIDIA DGX systems. GCC, that's the Gulf, offers scale via oil well. The European Union focuses on compliance-driven sovereign clouds. Local telcos like TELUS are prime partners given your telecom focus, positioned for edge AI and data residency deals. I noticed these answering AI chains, and you should be aware of this. Just as you ask questions over time, your questions are having an impact on the answers. So I wouldn't accept these answers as, 100%, but broad brush. I mean, they're good enough for broad brush. Quantum computing will not eliminate the need for data centers. That's a key question, Ward, in the coming years or even decades. Classical data centers will remain essential, like Jimi Hendrix music, for the vast majority of AI and general computing workloads. Instead, quantum will create hybrid setups where it augments specific tasks like optimization and simulations. What's happened to the English language? Driving more data center demand overall. More, 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 more. All right. Did I say something wrong? I guess I did. All right, we'll go here. And now we'll come here. All right. Quantum's limited scope. Quantum excels at narrow problems like molecular modeling, cryptography, complex optimizations, and other things that most of us don't know what the hell they are, but struggles with everyday tasks like doing the dishes, telling her that she looks nice today, dear, and doing the yard work. It requires cryogenic cooling and error correction, making it impractical for replacing GPUs and CPUs at scale anytime soon. Even optimistic forecasters see quantum replacing supercomputing niches first, not replacing hyperscale AI data centers. Data centers will evolve into quantum hybrid. I was just going to ask that. Quantum hybrid facilities integrating quantum processors alongside classical GPUs and CPUs via high bandwidth links for workload orchestration. The English, the poor English language, destroyed. But when you see words like orchestration, think conductor. This convergence with AI could cut energy use 10 to 40% for certain tasks while enabling new apps, but it expands infrastructure needs, power, cooling for both. Projections show global data center capacity growing to 100 gigawatts, which sounds like a lot or very little unless you understand what a gigawatt is. And I have to put myself in the category of not having a fathom of how big a gigawatt is. I think most power plants get up to half a gigawatt, but I don't know that for sure. By 2030, despite quantum advances, and this growth is going to be fueled by AI demand. So from an investment angle, a focus on data center infra, which I think includes software, and quantum firms, infra firms. Bet on hybrid enablers, NVIDIA, IonQ, Rigetti, and power players like Hydro-Quebec in Canada. And then classic data centers, REITs, Equinix, Digital Reality stay resilient as quantum scales slowly I turn. Then Ward sent me this chart. Data residency, Microsoft 365. Data residency and processing commitments map. The chartreuse or whatever that green color is. Local data residency. That's Canada, that's the United States and Alaska. And then it's kind of one time zone from Central America all the way down into South America is in a deeper blue. But anyway, nice map, huh? And then this is the United States. Virginia, Texas, and California lead in the number of data centers. Look at right here in Virginia. Ashburn, Virginia, 150. Sterling, Virginia, 110. Manassas, 80. Virginia has 643 data centers. Columbus, Ohio, Chi-Town, Des Moines, Iowa, 76. What are they going to do with all the corn? Dallas has 193. Texas has almost 400 data centers. Georgia has 145. California now has 319 data centers. And right in the middle of where there's no water, Phoenix has 152. Here's the planned data centers by 2032. And if you just take a trip, a ride in the sky on my ship, Fantasy, imagine if Railtown has to be on top of all those data centers. But here up in the USA, it looks like it's contagious. You've got big tech and then new players and the rest. Canada has a couple of outbreaks up there. And of course, the main contagion there trips up into Canada. The EU is going to do its best to catch up, but it doesn't. I don't think it looks good for those guys. But it's mainly France. Makes sense. They have all the nuclear power. Germany, somewhat there, and then the colder climates. It looks like Helsinki and I can't quite read that map, but basically Scandinavia up there. And then you can see Saudi Arabia standing out. I assume it's Saudi, right in the middle of the Middle East. And then down here in South America, I think there's 2 nuclear power plants in South America, which makes it an attractive place to live. But it's interesting, the data centers are right where I think those plants are. Plus, they're near the oil discovery. So I don't know if that's why they're there. And then Australia seems to be trying to get in on the action. Southeast, the clutter of clusters. And then, of course, there's China and India. Is in on the game as well. So there's the future. If you look in North America, the light green, and in sort of Geneva, Paris, and I don't know, is that the Greek islands or something? But if you look at that, the finance area is going to have a lot of data centers. And it looks like one of the data centers in South America will be finance. Step right up. Come on in. If you'd like to take the grand tour of what was home, sweet home, over there sits the chair where she'd bring the paper to me and sit on my knee and whisper, I love you, dear. All right, looks like Railtown closes at 27.5 cents, 0.2747. Finger still trading a little bit, but it's at 108. GDC at 344. MTEN 168. ZJYL 14.5. The markets, the Dow closed down almost 600 points. NASDAQ down almost 400 points. S&P down almost 100 points. And I would suggest to you, these aren't beginnings of a crash. These are areas leading up to this ultimate swoosh to the upside. All right, let's go through what else I had, and then I'll shut up. I'll take questions. I'll do a little dance, get down tonight. I guess this is the first one. I asked a question. Oh no, this is Ward. Railtown AI engine software, a real-time event-based, look at this, a real-time event-based ingestion engine excels at processing streaming data for AI agents, enabling context-rich insights. It sounds like me. And rapid responses in enterprise settings. When hypothetically integrated into the Genesis mission, sounds like Star Trek, a U.S. government initiative launched in late 25 to build an AI platform for federal scientific data sets. That's what they call it. Rail Engine could streamline data ingestion from vast live scientific streams like sensor feeds or experimental outputs. I love it. And what if Rail Engine is the only engine? And what if Rail Engine has the only IP? There's a street here. There's I Street. I often go up to I and P. Of course, the alphabets are on one grid and the numbers on another. So I will say in my cornball humor, I often go to 18th and P. Rail Engine core capabilities. Rail Engine pairs with Railtown's Railtracks ADK for agent orchestration, think conductor, and conductor for observability, forming a full platform for building scalable AI agents. It supports real-time semantic search, RAG workflows, and software as a solution integration, shifting from batch to event-driven processing for low latency automation. So, what's the fit for the Genesis mission? Genesis aims to harness massive federal data sets for AI-driven science breakthroughs and tracking every citizen from birth to grave, such as in energy or quantum tech. Rail Engine would ingest heterogeneous, real-time data, for example, lab instruments, simulations, feeding autonomous agents to detect anomalies, prioritize insights, and automate analysis, reducing developer overhead in a high-stakes, multi-agency environment. So the potential workflow, the ingestion phase, Rail Engine pulls live streams into searchable knowledge base using pre-built connectors for federal data sources. Agent execution. Railtrack orchestrated agents perform RAG, augmented tasks, like error triage via conductors auto triage, flagging issues early in CI/CD pipelines. We're doing the Vatican RAG. Observability loop. Conductor monitors agent reasoning, performance, and costs, ensuring compliant sovereign deployments aligned with the government's goals of getting into everybody's business. This setup could accelerate Genesis by enabling proactive, scalable AI over siloed data, though integration would need customization for federal security standards. Railtown AI's platform stands out for federal AI projects because of its focus on real-time agent orchestration and sovereign Canadian infrastructure. But it faces stiff competition from more established tools with proven FedRAMP compliance. I would have asked who that competition is if I were the one asking the questions. The competition doesn't scare me. Railtown emphasizes end-to-end agent development. Rail Engine for streaming data ingestion, Railtrack's ADK for orchestration, and Conductor for observability, ideal for dynamic federal spying workloads like scientific data processing in initiatives such as Genesis. Competitors like Planeteer excel in data integration and analytics for government with deep FedRAMP authorization and handling of complex data sets across agency. Gov targets GovCon workflows specifically, unifying capture to contract management with FAR trained AI, outperforming general tools in compliance-heavy proposed automation. Wow. There's a whole new industry built around a bunch of words. Railtown AI, real-time event ingestion agent observability and Canadian sovereign hosting. That's the strength. Weakness, Railtown is still pre-revenue and it has a limited track record. It is in compliance with the sovereignty fit from data sovereignty, but it needs a US Fed ramp path. Ramp this. Palantir, its strength is advanced analytics, multi-source integration, trusted by the Department of War and the Department of Excellence. High cost, less agent focused. FedRAMP has high compliance. So the weakness is its cost, and it is not agent focused. But it's battle tested. GovDash, end-to-end GovCon, and FAR specific AI. Weakness, it's narrow, not broad agents. Strength, it's already got some sort of approvals and it's inside of Salesforce. Make and Zapier, the strength, workflow automation, vast integrations. Weakness, it lacks deep GovCon training and security, and it has a moral spine. It really doesn't like spying on U.S. citizens. The compliance fit, it's generic, it's poor for classified data. All right, so projects like Genesis, which require live data streams and agent autonomy, Railtown could accelerate prototyping with its Python native tools, especially in hybrid US-Canada sovereign setups. However, incumbents like Palantir dominate because of scalability and compliance, while Railtown's edge lies in cost-effective, that's good, event-driven innovation, that's good, for emerging AI science apps. They have to go through some security hoops. Does Railtown meet federal compliance? No, it doesn't. Railtown AI has achieved SOC 2 Type 2 certification as of November 24, validating controls for security, availability, processing, integrity, confidentiality, and privacy through an independent AI CPA audit. This positions Railtown well for commercial enterprise trust, but it falls shy of the requirements to spy on North America. Current certifications. Certified for the psychiatric ward. Railtown has achieved SOC 2 Type 2. And we've talked about that. FedRAMP demands standardized security assessments, continuous monitoring, and authorization at moderate or high impact levels for federal use. Standards Railtown lacks. I guess it requires public evidence or standards Railtown lacks public evidence of pursuing or attaining. That's a weird sentence. Competitors like Palantir and Appian hold FedRAMP, enabling direct federal deployment. The path forward, Railtown's Canadian sovereign hosting aids data residency, but it would still require FedRAMP authorization or some sort of hybrid. SOC 2 provides a foundation, but it all hinges on a deeper dive. All right, this now is me. Yes, proof of concept is crucial for determining Railtown's AI's value, particularly as a pre-revenue AI startup seeking validation in federal or enterprise contexts. That wasn't me. That last bit is left over from Ward, but the POC is my question. Railtown's valuation, trading at a high multiples like 40, 87 times book value despite no revenue, relies heavily on product milestones and partnerships, TELUS Sovereign AI, Microsoft Marketplace launches. But I guess they want to say Railtown lacks public customer traction evidence. A POC, proof of concept, de-risks technology claims, validates real-world fit for agentic frameworks like Rail Engine, Rail Tracks, and signals scalability to investors, directly boosting valuation in AI where proof trumps hype. I thought love trumped hate, but I guess proof trumps hype. Now we know. Critical importance level, the POCs. It has high impact. For early stage AI firms like Railtown, proof of concepts represent key de-risking milestones akin to TRL 3-4 progression. Ah, that's what we wanted. TRL 3 to 4 progression. Potentially multiplying valuation 2 to 3x by demonstrating retention, efficiency, and federal applicability. I don't care about the federal spying, but whatever. In 2025 AI trends, investors prioritize POC and AOC driven evidence over promises, with seed and series AI valuations hinging on pilots showing customer led growth amid valuation compression post hype. Without disclosed POCs, Railtown's value remains speculative. Successful federal pilots could catalyze, oh, another destroyed word, uplisting or funding jumps. A proof of concept significantly boosts AI startup funding rounds by de-risking technical and market viability, often unlocking higher valuations and faster closings. In other words, funding rounds. Investors view POCs as tangible evidence of feasibility, reducing perceived risk and shifting funding from promise to proof. Critical in artificial intelligence, where 80 to 90% of projects fail without validation. Successful POCs demonstrate metrics like model accuracy, integration, and return on investment forecasts, enabling startups to secure bridge funding or tranches tied to milestones. What's the impact on rounds? Well, on the seed pre-seed, proof of concepts justify 2 to 3 times higher valuations than otherwise. Proving team execution and hype amid hype-driven skepticism. In the Series A and B rounds, this proof of POCs, proof of concept, converts pilots to revenue traction, accelerating rounds with premium multiples. For example, 20 to 30x at validated AI firms on revenue. And then the later stages, it would build on the proof of concept data for scalability proof, as seen in firms like Anthropic, doubling in back-to-back rounds post-validation. Without POCs, rounds stall on due diligence. With proof of concept, startups attract venture capitalists, prioritizing retention and efficiency over talk. AI investors, I just read that to you. No, maybe I didn't. AI investors, I read it to you. All right. Accuracy, precision recall. If it's proven, these are the top the metrics that help out are accuracy, precision, and recall. Latency, processing speed reductions, cheaper or faster, means the same thing. And model stability across data subsets impress by validating feasibility under real-world constraints. Error rate drops and false positive negative thresholds demonstrate reliability, key for scaling predictions in enterprise AI. What are the top business metrics? Rate, return on investment. What else? Projections, cost savings, and operational uplifts through like throughput increases signal monetizable, another destroyed word, impact. Retention proxies such as task completion rates or user adoption in pilots bridge point of contact, proof of concept, to revenue, with VCs targeting CAC, cash on cash payback, in less than 12 months post POC. So if AOC were a VC, she'd look for CAC in less than 12 months post POC in DC. These metrics, when benchmarked against baselines, give you 2 or 3 times higher valuations. Railtown has no publicly disclosed customer proof of concepts right as of now, but it maintains an active demo and presentation program showcasing its platform components like rail engine, rail tracks, and conductor. Railtown frequently demonstrates its tech at industry events, including Upper Bound, which also presented Langtrack's agentic framework, A and BC Demo Night, AI After Dark, and Launch Builders Meetup with Microsoft Vancouver. These highlights live capabilities such as real-time data ingestion, agent orchestration, and observability, but serve as product showcases rather than validated customer proof of concepts. No evidence of federal or enterprise pilots or named customer proof of concepts appear in press releases or filings. Focus remains on product launches, for example, Rail Engine last month, and partnerships like TELUS Sovereign AI. Tech demo videos and site overviews at railtown.ai, but please be warned, if you go to railtown.ai and you click on the link to Twitter, it's going to go to a Twitter page that they haven't populated. If that matters to you, you got to find another stock. So their sites provide self-hosted trials, positioning Railtown for potential proof of concepts amid pre-revenue status. This demo-heavy approach builds buzz, but underscores the need for customer-validated POCs to elevate valuation per prior context on investor prioritize. Prioritize this, pal. God, so verbose. Yes, simply announcing that a proof of concept is underway would be a positive for Railtown AI. It would signal momentum toward de-risking and customer validation in the eyes of investors. Even pre-results, an underway proof of concept demonstrates execution. Securing a reputable partner like TELUS shows market pull, and reduces vaporware risk, often lifting stock sentiment. Sentiment can change on a dime or funding prospects by 20 to 50%. Just starting the proof of concept via narrative alone. An underway proof of concept shifts perception from product demos to real world testing. This is critical for pre-revenue AI firms amid 2026 efficiency focus. The uplift is modest without metrics. Investors discount announcements if pilots drag, or if the pilots are in drag. 95% of Gen AI pilots fail per MIT. Investors prioritize completion over initiation. For Railtown, a federal proof of concept underway could, do I have to read it? Catalyze valuation jumps, but prolonged underway status erodes credibility absent updates. This step alone advances Railtown toward the POC traction VCs crave, bridging demos to proof. That's enough of that. Little square. What's your opinion on AI data centers in the sky, like out in space? Well, I think it's great. One thing is, I think it's why we want Greenland, because you need the North Pole to always be facing the sun. Two, I think it'll open up a race for regulation and UN control of space, but for the time being, there's no rules and regulation. Three, I think it's very clever because you use essentially unlimited energy without heating the earth. And the heat dissipates. Obviously, the risks are it would be vulnerable to solar flares, asteroid hits, space junk, overreach. In other words, can they really build it out as quickly as they're saying? How do you maintain it? Who maintains it? The government or industry? But in general, I really like it. And I queried Perplexity, I think, some one of these research engines, and just because the data center is in space doesn't mean it doesn't need that orchestration layer, that framework layer. So I think it's a brilliant idea, and it explains what Amber Heard saw in Elon Musk. T. Alex, how many countries have energy infrastructure to have sovereign AI? It's a good question. I would think you've got the Saudis, but I don't know how much. That's one thing in the worldwide oil market. If Saudi Arabia starts consuming a lot of its oil, there's less to sell. The UAE clearly has power. And of course, they all have a lot of sun. The United States, I wonder if we have energy infrastructure. We've been bombing deserts and assaulting mountains for so long. We've let our infrastructure grow. we should just let all those defense contractors that get rich on the government tit, just tell them, go build our bridges, go build our energy infrastructure, go build our high-speed trains, and lard it up with corruption. But just don't, you no longer have to squander the nation's wealth in bombs. Why don't you squander the nation's wealth building something we need? But anyway, I'm not sure we have the infrastructure. China, I think, has the energy infrastructure. India, I doubt, has it. And India will burn a lot of coal, a lot of coal. I bet France has the infrastructure. They certainly have the nuclear power plants. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure they'll lag a bit, but I wouldn't be surprised that the Soviet Union wouldn't build out the infrastructure. They've got the energy, they've got the highly educated population. But it's a good question what you're asking. And I think we saw on that map that North America probably is where most of the data centers will reside. But I wouldn't count out China. Justin Babish, Dr. Brown from Back to the Future, says only a bolt of lightning can generate 1.21 gigawatts. I'm not sure I ever saw that movie, or I saw part of it. But anyway, that's interesting. A lightning bolt, 1.1 gigawatt is a lightning bolt. Julius Quinn, it's going to be a good week next week. It could be. I mean, it used to be that markets would predict news one way or the other early. But I mean, we're getting closer to good events. But I still think we're probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks away if we want to maintain our sanity. And we might be, it might be March. We just don't know for sure. If I had to guess, Rail Engine has to be tested, and it's only a week after they announced that it was finished. Perhaps, and it's only a perhaps, that underwater power line was very important to set up. I don't know where the Moose data center is. Is it on an island in the middle of the St. Lawrence Seaway? I don't know. But maybe those hookups are an important part. Maybe the data center wasn't ready to turn on full blast, and maybe that's part of it. But anyway, I think for sanity, we should probably. I remember, you're right. My call was February 12th, wasn't it? The year of the horse. Yeah, maybe. Could be. Wouldn't it be nice if the stock price in Railtown took off like strings of firecrackers in KL or Beijing or Singapore, to celebrate the new year? Do you think it's going to be a good week next week? It could be. But I've gotten so, disappointed in my own calls that I hesitate to say it'll be next week. It'll be soon. It'll be soon. I think it'll be soon. I don't know about next week, though. Trying to think if there was anything else. Not much. Not much. I'll just put this at the end of the live one more time, just in case someone comes to visit it. and I appreciate it. Look at Lucky Boy. I miss him so much. He was always a happy boy, and I appreciate anybody's help. Let me take that down now. Where is it? There it is. And if there's another question or two, I'll stay. Otherwise, I think I might sign off. Let's just see if we're still safe vis-a-vis Iran. I don't even know who Guthrie is. Yeah, it's Ellen DeGeneres, 27 million in Montecheet show, 9,000 square feet. Woo! Her guests wouldn't even have to know she's there. Yeah, there doesn't. Let's see what the news is on the financial markets. Then I'll sign off. Stocks clobbered as tech Bitcoin rout continue. Tech is bearing the brunt of selling, but commodities are also facing pressure. Bitcoin sank. Bitcoin's not a commodity. Bitcoin wipes out Trump era gains. Amazon plans AI spending surge, sending the stock sinking. That's just bear market, but I don't think it'll last. It's just a correction, I think. AMD stock plummets. Microsoft maintains strong AI positioning amid hyperscaler focus. TD Cowen keeps buy on Microsoft. Blue Owl likes Blue Horse. Jim Cramer. Oh no, we already read that. Alphabet says capital spending in 26 could double. And then there's a headline, Microsoft just showed why it's a must-own stock. All right, those are the headlines. I think I'll leave it there. Oh, let me see. No questions, no questions. Thank you again, Jack. I appreciate it. Thank you. And I'm going to sign off. We'll talk again tomorrow. And yeah, Julius, I think things are going to get better pretty quickly. So peace to everyone.